You know, from AI art to crypto, our world is being rewritten by code literally every single day. But here's the thing. Behind every pixel, behind every single transaction, there's a massive physical world of hardware humming away, usually in the dark. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover those unseen engines, the sheer industrial power that makes our digital future even possible. The CEO of Northern Data Group, Arush Thelanathan, he calls this a technical revolution. And honestly, that is not an exaggeration. We're not just talking about getting slightly faster apps on your phone. No, this is a fundamental shift in how we think about computing, creativity, everything.
So what does a revolution like this actually look like? I mean, what are the gears and circuits, the nuts and bolts that make it all happen? Because, it's not magic, it's machinery.
And the answer really is what we can call the invisible infrastructure. It's the bridge that takes us from these abstract digital ideas, these concepts, to concrete physical reality. And it's all built on a foundation of just raw computing power.
Right at the heart of it all is something called high-performance computing, or HPC. Just think of it as computing on a massive industrial scale. It's the engine that powers generative AI, and it does that using these specialized chips called GPUs. But it's also the same kind of foundation that secures the Bitcoin network, though it uses different chips for that, called ASICs, which are custom-built for one single task, making them ridiculously efficient. So on one hand, you've got this sleek, almost intangible digital world of AI. But on the other hand, you have this, sprawling industrial-scale data centers. I mean, look at them. These are literally the power plants of the digital age, turning electricity into pure computational force.
To really get a handle on how this infrastructure gets built, let's zoom in on a key player, Germany's Northern Data Group. They've built their entire business around a really clear three-pillar strategy designed to meet this absolutely exploding demand.
Okay, so their first pillar is all about building a brand new kind of cloud. This is one that's specifically engineered for the immense and, let's be honest, power-hungry demands of artificial intelligence. And the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. Their Taiga Cloud division provides that specialized GPU power that things like generative AI desperately need. In fact, it operates Europe's largest cluster of top-tier NVIDIA GPUs. But what's really crucial here is that they're doing this with 100% carbon-neutral energy. And believe me, this is no side project. It's so central to their strategy that it's projected to be their biggest source of revenue this year. Now, this second pillar, this one dives right into the world of digital assets, and they're focused on the biggest one of all, Bitcoin. This part of the company, Peak Mining, is actually one of the largest Bitcoin miners on the planet. Their whole job is to run these incredibly complex calculations that keep the network secure. And to stay ahead of the game, they're investing a ton in ultra-efficient liquid-cooled hardware. It lets them pack way more computing power into a smaller space. Their plan? To more than double their total computing power, what's known as their hash rate, by the end of 2024. And what about the third pillar? Well, you could say it's the foundation that holds the other two up. It's the physical real estate, the actual buildings, for all this high-tech hardware. So Ardent Data Centers is the division that plans, builds, and manages all the facilities. They operate in both the US and Europe, and they specialize in the kind of high-density infrastructure you absolutely need for HPC. With a huge investment strategy of their own underway, they are the literal physical backbone of this entire operation. But of course, all of this computing power comes at a cost, and the biggest one by far is energy. This is really the central challenge for the entire industry. How do you power this revolution without wrecking the planet in the process? So let's get real for a second. What does that energy use actually look like? Well, in 2023, Northern Data's energy mix was about 41% renewable and 22% nuclear. That means 37%, over a third of it, still came from fossil fuels. It's a snapshot that shows, yeah, there's real progress, but it also shows just how far the industry still has to go. Because of that, the really crucial point isn't just where the energy comes from, but how efficiently it's actually used. The industry measures this with a metric called power usage effectiveness, or PUE. A perfect score is 1.0. That means every single watt of power goes directly to the computers with absolutely nothing wasted on stuff like cooling or lighting. And this is where the engineering just gets really, really clever. Check this out. The Lefdal Mine Data Center in Norway. By building deep underground and using naturally cool fjord water, they get an incredibly low PUE of 1.15. And their own site in Sweden, it's even more efficient, hitting a mind-blowing 1.09. That's about as close to perfect as you can get.
And hey, this isn't just a one-off thing. The entire industry is innovating like crazy. You've got competitors like Iron Mountain using geothermal cooling way down in former limestone mines to slash their energy use. This push for efficiency is creating some truly amazing engineering solutions.
So you've got this incredible demand on one side, and these immense technical challenges on the other. It should be no surprise that it takes a staggering amount of capital just to compete. We're talking about a company making a massive, massive bet on the future of computing. In 2023 alone, Northern Data raised around 1 billion euros in capital. And listen, that isn't just a number on a page. It's a war chest. It's the money you need to build the future, to buy the hardware, secure the locations, and hire the talent you need to stay right on the cutting edge. So where did that billion euros actually go? Well, you can see it deployed really strategically across all three pillars. First, they bought the picks and shovels for the AI gold rush, over 10,000 of NVIDIA's most advanced GPUs. Second, they bought the real estate, expanding their data center footprint. And third, they upgraded their mining operations with the latest energy-efficient hardware. It's a total all-in push. So what's the expected payoff for a bet that big? The numbers here tell a pretty dramatic story. In 2023, they had revenue of about 77 million euros. But for 2024, the forecast is a tripling of that, somewhere between 200 and 240 million. And maybe even more telling, they expect to swing from a small loss to a really significant profit of 50 to 80 million euros. I mean, when you put it all together, the picture is just one of explosive growth. You have a stock price that more than quadrupled last year, and that's leading into a year where they expect revenue to triple. This is a company that is going all in on the AI and HPC revolution. Which, of course, brings us to the final thought. This digital world is expanding at a breakneck pace, and it's all being driven by these incredible unseen engines. So the big question we're left with is this. Can we continue to build these physical foundations, these power plants of the digital age, in a way that is truly sustainable for our future?